Welcome back, everyone, aboard Blurred Force One with your boys Mo and Lottie. And this is the Supercast. The Supercast, where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. And before we get into the podcast proper, do us a favor, get down there, hit like on this video, and do us a favor and subscribe to the channel. Help us grow this channel where all nerds are welcome. And you hit the notification bell so to let you know when we drop more content. So anyway, it's the Supercast, episode 105, and it's a big news week. We're in the glow, the post Spider-Verse glow, and the pre-Flash anticipatory glow. So Lottie, what's going on, man? We got so much to be looking forward to.
Oh yeah. Like I said, we talked about it last week, but I do have to say, I say it again. I truly enjoyed Spider-Verse. Didn't watch the new Transformers movie as much as I am a Transformers buff. I just, I heard a review from somebody, and it just made me now decide to watch it.
Oh man, I didn't see it either. I don't want to say I'm more selective now than I used to be of watching movies, but the truth is, I was sick over the weekend, so I couldn't go see anything. So maybe I'll get around to it, but it is definitely coming out on Paramount Plus probably within the next, I don't know, 4 weeks or so. So if I miss it in the theater, I'll definitely hit it up there. And yes, this coming week, Flash is coming out. Definitely going to go see that on Saturday night. Should be dope. We'll let you guys know how we feel about that. I imagine that our next episode is going to just be about the spoiler review of that thing. So you guys come back and check that out next week. But anyway, what other nerdy stuff you been up to, Lottie?
Um, uh, so Final Fantasy 16 not trailer demo came out today. Haven't played it yet, but I'm downloading it. Um, I'm also been doing like this little series on my Instagram of my interpretation of the seven deadly sins. Very is hitting it all, and people really love Greed because I made Greed a rapper.
That's not topical at all.
I have to finish Gluttony, and this is just the exclusive to the Supercast. I'm gonna make Gluttony a kingpin.
The kingpin. Oh, a kingpin.
Basically, he will be the kingpin. But
Michael Clark Duncan kingpin.
No.
Oh well, that's cool.
Great kingpin though.
No, that's pretty cool. Well, we got to go check that all out. My nerdy stuff has been, I've been catching up on Star Trek finally because Strange New Worlds drops this coming Friday, and I've been watching Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which is something that one of us has been slacking on, and there's no good excuse for it. You know who I'm talking about, you, Lottie. What have you watched an episode of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur yet? See, look at that guilty silence. Just you dropping the ball. And I've been telling you, not been telling you for weeks that it's really good.
Yeah, it's just man.
Y'all don't want to hear. See, I'm gonna end up having to review the show on my own. I can tell. I got 2 episodes left to watch. It's great. In fact, I'll say this: if your kids liked Spider-Verse, slide them over on the Disney Plus and put on Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. It's real fun. It's got a lot of heart. It's and actually its animation style is like crazy. I really like the show. And mind you, it's not meant for me. I know it's meant for 10 to 12-year-olds or something, or maybe younger. I don't care. It's a fun show. So you guys go check that out. So anyway, enough of that. We're going to get into the show itself. And as usual, we go and cover the news topics of the week. And some, we'll have a main topic that we discuss. But this week, there's just so much news. We're just going to do all news this week. So you guys strap in and get ready because we're going to be talking about these things. It's all about the box office. The last weekend had several big movies in theater. And so who won, who lost, and what were the total numbers there. There's an unfortunate announcement for casting on Deadpool 3. A Blue Beetle gets a come up, gets a big come up in the DC universe. We're going to talk about what that all means. Are there some internal problems over at Marvel? Is that why things maybe aren't going so well over there? And what are they all about? Marvel just can't seem to get a break. There's Tenoch Huerta was accused of sexual assault. What's that all about? And then finally, Marvel does a bunch of delays. In fact, it's Disney, but Marvel is a part of Disney. Does a bunch of delays for their upcoming movies. Where are they moving to, and what does this mean for the future of Phase 5 of the MCU? So all of that we got on tap to discuss. Lottie, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, well, let's jump in. So let's do some box office, man. We love crunching the numbers and all this. Like, just we're invested in whether the superhero movies are doing well. And this last weekend, we had two superhero movies in the box office at the same time. They're Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and of course, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which last week was the number one, but could it hold the number one this week? So first, Lottie, Guardians 3. It just keeps on winning. I'm not kidding. It's in its sixth week, in release, up against some stiff competition. Like it has been running against, big name, big IP, and it's still, just chugging along. And so this last weekend, it brought in $7 million, which you might be like, oh, $7 million, that's all. But in its sixth week, that's pretty fucking good, actually. 32% drop from the previous week. So it made $10.5 million last weekend. And the weekend before, and this last weekend it made $7 million. That's a really, really good hold. If you're that's what we call legs, right? And this was doing this when Transformers: Rise of the Beasts premiered in theaters, and Spider-Verse was in its second weekend after it had a big old $120 million first weekend. So a very good hold for its sixth week. It's now sitting at $807 million, and I mean, it probably has another $10 to $15 million in it. So, Lottie, I keep asking you every week, like, you hear these numbers, see what's going on. I mean, this is a W, right? Like, and none of the haters, they seriously can't be saying that it's not a win, right?
I mean, who is hating on this movie?
I don't.
I know there's weird people out there.
There's Snyder stands and stuff,
Like, it's because here's the thing. It's like it has to, because like even people that are considered toxic fans liked the movie. Like, the only people that probably don't like this movie are just weirdos. They're just mad at the world. They just want to be mad at everything.
They're mad at James Gunn because Henry Cavill and Batfleck. That they're mad about that.
Because the movie's great, man. I have no like it's in my opinion it should have easily been $1 billion movie, but unfortunately, some other circumstances in that is not probably going to allow it to become $1 billion movie. But it definitely has made his money back and has made some money.
Oh yeah.
That James Gunn is saying deuces to Marvel, and Marvel's like, no, wait, forgive us, please.
Nope. It's too late. You had your chance.
Deuces.
Now
that man dropped $8 million on the desk and said peace.
Yeah. I tell you what though, I mean, going out on a high note, but I mean, I'm not even going to say pick up the phone. I think I more or less said it would make at least 800 million, but wouldn't get to 850. And I think I feel good about saying that, because from here on out, it's going to be probably going to be pulling in, 4, 4.5, 2.5, so forth until it's done. Probably in its 8th week, it might get pulled out, which is all good. It's a good theatrical run, and I mean nothing but a win for Marvel and for James Gunn. And again, I remind people, this is just an example of the person who's going to be leading the DC universe, and so I mean the dude doesn't do anything but win. So. I'm really happy for James Gunn, for us as fans to have gotten the movie, and I'm looking forward to what James Gunn's going to be doing in the future. So moving from Marvel to Sony, Spider-Verse had its second week. Lottie, 54% drop, raked in $55.5 million, was about five and a half, 6 million short of being number one at the box office because Rise of the Beast actually overperformed where people thought it might. But hey, that is nothing. Being number two, nothing to sneeze at. No. Here, not when you're making 55.5 million. Which, think about that. The newest Transformers beat it only by like $5 million on it in its second weekend. So that's kind of a testament to the fact that Spider-Verse really did gangbusters in the first week. 54% drop in your second week. Any movie at all would kill for that. Like for real, especially a blockbuster, 54% drop, that's excellent. That's a good sign for longevity. So right now the domestic total stands at $232 million and some change, but the international is only at $87 million. Lottie, what's going on there? What is up with the rest of the world?
It's the rest of the world is enjoying the movie. It's just for some reason the box office trackers are just like, we'll track it when we feel like it.
I think this is important too, like because I'm asking myself like, what the hell's going on with them? Because what's going on with the rest of the world? There's a narrative going on about like, is it just that the rest, other parts of the world just don't want to see black people in anything, and it's easy to kind of buy into that because there's a bit of that. Let's not lie. There is some of that shit going on. Little Mermaid should be bigger than it is, and it's not. And there's some foolish reasons behind it. But I mean, this is animation, and as I understand it, Japanese people love Spider-Man, and Asian people love Spider-Man, and so I don't want to buy into that without seeing any real numbers. So right now, you're right, Box Office Mojo is behind. That's being charitable. It just doesn't have the data for a bunch of different countries outside of North America, and therefore it's pretty hard to say that there's some kind of trend related to the characters themselves, as opposed to like there's just no data. So I think we keep an eye on it, but I feel good that I think Spider-Verse, like, to me, Spider-Verse should be at 500 million by now, or it should be. Where is it at? It's at damn near 400. I think it should be at 500 by now, but I don't think we have any real numbers to actually say whether or not it is. So I just, like I said, I want to keep an eye on it. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Like I keep looking at the box office and I keep seeing 300. And I'm like, nah, this movie.
That sounds wrong.
And what I don't like is that the freaking papers and articles are writing the misinformation. Just write that it's doing well in the box office. Don't say it's doing 300 something million across because everyone's like, hey, it's not doing that well. No, like it's flopping after its second week. No, it's doing extremely well. As someone who's a foreigner who has family on other side of the planet, that movie's doing well. I'm telling you, that movie, if it's not 500 million, it's damn close.
Yeah. I'm gonna say right now, without the international box office, if the current way that domestic is trending is going this way, I mean, you're talking. Let's say it does 60% drop. So next week it's it's 55. What is it? What I say 55 this week. So let's say a half drop of that is like 25 So let's say it's 20 million. That's a good hold for a third, especially in the face of the Flash. That's a good hold. I suspect that it will be number 2 next week. After this weekend, I think it will be number 2 after this weekend. I think Rise of the Beast, I think it's gonna go more than 60% drop, which will put it, it will. In fact, I think Rise of the Beast is probably going to pull in just a little under what Spider-Verse will. So it'll be number 2 again, and if it keeps on, and I honestly think it does have legs. I think it has rewatchability. So the domestic could, honestly, the domestic right now is at 232 million. I think the domestic could get another 70 million, maybe more. Maybe it could go as much as 310 for its total run, which is phenomenal. That's almost as much as the first one made, period. And I think it could damn near do its Into the Spider-Verse's entire run just domestic. So y'all, you heard it here. I'm predicting it'll make at least 300. I'm predicting that Across the Spider-Verse domestically will make at least $310 million. And if that's the case, it's not just a win. It's a huge dub. Like, it's a gigantic W. Like, there's no question. So we shall see. We're going to keep an eye on that next week, and we'll let you guys know what's going on. So another quick bit of news. Lottie, I hate to inform you, and this hurts me deeply because of how much I adore the character. Zazie Beetz is not going to be coming back to Deadpool. No Domino in Deadpool 3. And I'm very sad about that. Lottie, can you help me get over my heartbreak about this?
Hold on, let me just remember.
Zazie Beetz, she's, you know what?
Oh,
you are no help to me, sir.
Listen, it's been like 3 years since I've seen that movie.
One of the damn coolest characters in the movie. Just like everything just worked for her. I loved it. I thought she was awesome. Loved Domino in there, and I'm a fan of Zazie Beetz. I mean, she's just great. So anyway, help me get over this heartache, sir.
Oh, you still got what's her name? King blow it up for her.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead, but I don't know. I love Negasonic Teenage Warhead, but it's not the same way I like Domino. Like Negasonic Teenage Warhead, I'm just like, that's a good kid. She's gonna go far, and isn't she cute with Yukio? They're adorable and I love them. But Zazie Beetz is like, she's just like hot, mercenary girl and she's always giving Wade shit, and it's fun. Like, I love the way Wade and her interacted. So I'm gonna miss that, and I'm like, please, y'all, figure out a way to get her into the one after that, because we know there's gonna be a part 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just make him. I'm upset.
I'm sorry.
Look, it's almost but not quite as if they said, you know what, Florence Pugh's not coming back for the next Avengers movie. Yelena for you. Now, how would that make you feel, sir?
I mean, it'll be less tasteful stuff to see, but I think I'll be like, less tasteful stuff to see.
So anyway, that's unfortunate, but I'm sure they'll figure out a place for her in the MCU. They better. She's really talented. So we'll see. We'll let you guys know more in the future. Lottie, dude, I'm gonna tell you this bit of news is about Blue Beetle and the DC universe going forward. Remember DC, Blue Beetle and Batgirl were supposed to be Max originals, and they were going to be DC EU adjacent movies or whatever, right? But then there was a shakeup, and they got rid of the Walter Hamada, and there's just all that stuff, and but in the midst of the Discovery buying them, they're like, oh, wait a minute, no, y'all not putting this on HBO Max. We're gonna put this in theaters. So that made us think like, oh, this Blue Beetle must be on point, because they dropped Batgirl like a bad habit, but they put this one, they put more money into it, and they're putting this thing into theaters. Cool. Looking forward to it. But the question was, that's great, but like, isn't it a DCEU thing? And like, aren't they scrapping all of that stuff with James Gunn and Peter Safran? Like, what's up with that? Well, James Gunn answered that question today. I was listening to this podcast. I didn't realize while I was listening to it that it was kind of blow up, because James Gunn was just revealing shit in it. Many things in it. Talking about like Superman and stuff like that. Just not anything particular. Just like he dropped a little thing. And the thing he dropped about Blue Beetle was bigger than I thought. I just kind of skimmed over it. But he says that Blue Beetle is going to be in the DCU. That's what he's calling it, the DCU, the DC universe. So this movie is canon to the new DC universe, and that he's going to be the first character introduced into the DCU. But the official first movie of the DCU is actually Superman Legacy. Lottie, this is, I don't know if you're feeling the ground shake with this. I am feeling this. That this is a confirmed character. So we're going to actually experience the new DC universe this year. Man, come on, Lottie, you got to be excited.
You know what, I'm going to tell you what this is. I'm going to tell you exactly what this is. This is what you call marketing and a business decision. Hear why I say this, because listen, all of a sudden James Gunn changes up his timeline.
That's the thing. I you know what, I have a theory about this.
I'm telling you, they're doing that because there's no reason. Because I think it was originally supposed to be a part of the original DCEU, but there's nothing connecting it to the original DCEU. So probably Zaslav and him just sat down and said, "Hey, like, do you like the character?" And James Gunn's like, "Yeah, I like him."
And
okay,
then the other thing, was the movie good?
Yeah, was the movie good? Like, do you approve of it? And he's like, yeah. So, okay, let's make it. Let's not freaking stab this movie to death before it even comes out.
Right.
Because you said it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because that movie, because if this movie came out after The Flash and it's not part, that movie, man,
the movie
that is death. That is like, no one will show up to watch that movie. They did the right decision by putting it part of the new, because now people are like, oh, okay, so it's the first movie part. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, essentially they're saying, hey, this movie actually matters. This character you will see again, and it gets the stamp of approval from the new, heads of DC. Yes, like you're 100%. I completely agree with you. It's a business decision, but I also think it's a creative decision. What I think happened here was just good fortune. It's kind of like you buy, James Gunn and Peter Safran, they bought a fixer-upper, right? And then they accidentally knocked a wall over and then found like a case of a suitcase full of $200,000. Oh my God, lucky us! We're gonna use this to make this house better. Like, they're literally like, okay, we can use this. Let's make this house better. And so maybe they found a hidden gem, a good story, great execution, and maybe it needed a little help to become next level, and they've given it that help, and they believe in it. So he's literally saying it's part of the DC universe going forward. It's the first character, but not the first official, not the first official movie, and which is splitting hairs, and that's fine. I don't mind that. But I'm damn excited, because I already really wanted to see this movie. I already thought it looked good. But maybe this is going to give us some hints. Maybe we'll be getting some cameos, or maybe not even cameos. Maybe we'll get like end credits that are going to like point the way towards, what we should expect to see. Or I suspect we'll get our first look at one or more heroes that are actually going to be cast, because I think that they're going to be revealing the cast, like some of the major players in the DC universe going forward at Comic-Con this year. So what a great place to actually just sort of tease them to the audience, you know, sort of like Nick Fury at the end of Iron Man or something like that. So, I mean, I'm talking out my ass. Maybe they won't do that, but that seems like some shit that they would do, and I'm all for it. So, I'm excited. Give me a great reason. I was already looking forward to it. Even more reason to look forward to it now. So, anyway, we'll let you guys know more about Blue Beetle as the time comes forward for that to come out, and of course we're going to review it. So you guys come back and check that out. So, less fun things to talk about here. Like, I feel like we're on a downward slope. Like, we were just talking about a bunch of cool things. Now it's not cool things. Lottie, can we just agree? Marvel Phase 4, Marvel post Endgame, not on the same level as the previous phase. Again, I'm a Marvel shill. I don't give a fuck. I like everything they've put out. I just like some of them to a lesser degree. Lottie, I know you don't share my opinion about some of those things, but I mean, for the most part, Phase 4, it wasn't like, it didn't rise to the level of Phase 3 maybe, or Phase 2 even. But I think it did, it was fine. But it's pretty clear there's some creative things that are going on behind the scenes. Maybe Kevin Feige's overstretched. Maybe there's not a cohesive vision. Maybe the Marvel method or the Marvel formula, maybe it's wearing thin. Who knows? Just too much coming out at once. But there's this report from anonymous people that work at Marvel talking about what's going on there and why there's problems. And Lottie, I don't know if you got a chance to kind of skim through it a little bit, but I mean, can I be honest? Not saying anything that I didn't suspect anyway, in some of these things. I know we had talked before about Victoria Alonso and how she ran the production and like post-production and VFX. There's plenty to be said there. But they're talking about, Marvel's, the way it handles, its TV shows and the showrunners, and it sort of upends the traditional way of showrunners really controlling the creative output of a show. And now there's more like, it's more like a comic book thing where there's an editor, and then the writers or showrunners are less in charge of the overall vision. Also that, there are people that aren't as interested in working for Marvel because of this, because of maybe a lack of autonomy, a lack of control over the process, and also that these executive producers that are having more creative control, maybe they're not as dialed in or as even experienced enough to actually bring these products to fruition in the quality that we expect from the MCU. So I mean, there's a lot going on in here, but it just kind of spells out that there needs not just that there are creative problems and leadership problems underneath Kevin Feige, but that there is that they do need to reevaluate their process and reevaluate how much stuff they're putting out. So Lottie, I mean, you hear all of this, you get a chance to look at this stuff. I mean, is any of this a surprise to you? And was there any, is there in your mind, a way out of this for Marvel?
I had this same conversation with my brother, and the answer is obvious. What's happening to Marvel? They miss James Gunn. True. It's kind of like ironic that around when James Gunn left Marvel, that's when the quality started dipping. Because James Gunn was he helped make the Avengers movies. He helped, advise, look over all these other movies. He was like a second person next to Kevin Feige, so Kevin Feige wouldn't be stretched as thin. They miss James Gunn, and that was even more apparent with Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was like a giant sore thumb of like, boy, whoo, they miss James Gunn. Because James Gunn did the Marvel formula better than any of the Phase 4 movies, in my opinion. He had the right comedy. action, stakes, like heartfelt moments. He encapsulated what made Marvel great, and it felt like one of those Phase 2 movies, like the Winter Soldier and what is the movie? Civil War. It felt like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel can come back from this. It's just I think they need to reevaluate what they want to do because they're already on path for what they want to do with Phase 4 and 5. Five has already started. Once they finish Phase 5, and because we don't even know if we're going to get Kang anymore.
I mean,
You
we will. They're just what?
probably,
Who's going to be Kang?
but I mean, is that movie if Jonathan Majors is not Kang, man, that movie's not coming out the time it's supposed to come out next year, because then they'll have to reshoot and re-edit. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think they need to start re-evaluating what they want to do with because they got the X-Men. Do something with the
Well,
X-Men,
yeah,
man.
maybe sometime in 10 years they'll do something with it.
Sometime in
Yeah.
boy.
No, that's real. I'm telling you, that's real. That they've got a full plate right now. Now, I mean, I think you're right about the James Gunn thing, like because at one point we talked about this years ago. He was literally going to be basically Kevin Feige's second hand, his right hand man to kind of shepherd like cosmic stuff. And there's a lot of cosmic stuff going on right now, and has been going on. But he would have been vital to kind of keeping everything on the rails, because as the MCU's been slowly, it's been expanding and expanding. Phase 4 was an explosion of new characters and new places, and old characters, kind of in new scenarios. There's a lot of, I mean, give Phase 4 its due. It did a lot of shit. That also may be why it wasn't as good, because it was doing a lot of shit and people felt like it wasn't really focused on any one thing. There's some really good stuff in Phase 4. There's some really swings and misses, and there's some just stuff that just like, okay, this is a thing, and that's fine if you're anybody but Marvel. If in fact, I'll say this: if DC did everything that Phase 4 did, people would be like, holy shit, DC is on a roll, right? But this is Marvel. We expect something different, and I think they have to, among other things, as far as behind the scenes, they've got to get they've got to dial back what they're doing, and they've got to figure out this whole, at least for the TV side, because a lot of this is about TV. For the TV side, they've got to learn how to make TV like TV is made. And that sounds like a simple, stupid thing to say. But the truth is, you can't make movies and then decide you're going to make TV just like you make movies. That is not the way it works. It's not. And it shows. Look, probably out of all of the Marvel TV shows, some of them just didn't hit. And because they didn't feel like they were TV, they felt like stretched out movies, right? Or they felt like, where are you going with this? Like, what? This feels aimless. Or they were just like, they had good ideas and they kind of fizzled out in a few places, and then they had a strong ending, or they had a strong beginning and they had the pew pew Marvel ending. So that's not TV.
Yeah.
That's not, let's just be honest, that's not the way TV works. And so I think trying to shoehorn in the Marvel method of movie making into making TV doesn't work. And so learn to make TV the way TV is supposed to be made. It's a successful formula for a reason. TV gets made a certain way for a reason, not because no one wants to change, but because it works. So that's one of my suggestions is actually get away from the whole Marvel movie method and instead get a Marvel TV method. Second thing I would say is respect the writers more. It sounds to me, from what I read on this, they're not respecting the writers very much. having writers' rooms and writing scripts and everything, being like, all right, cool, bye. And then never referencing the showrunner again, even when you're filming. That's stupid. That's a good way to fuck up a TV show, is to get the creative person, the driving force behind them. Then, be like, all right, cool, you wrote all the scripts, we're good, bye. And then trusting the assistant directors and maybe the executive producer that may have been involved in some of the creative process to actually be able to do rewrites. Because I tell you what, the day of, they're not following the script exactly. They will get close, but they'll do rewrites. And they need writers for that. So they need to respect the writers and the writing process and the role of a showrunner, which it goes back to making TV the way TV is made. And as I said before, do less shit. Just start making less stuff. It's fine. Look, you want to come out with 3 movies a year and 2, maybe 3 TV shows a year? Cool. You don't have to. We don't need one every quarter.
Yeah.
Give us 5 projects a year. I guarantee you will be fine. It would be totally fine. And I think they're taking at least that part to heart. I'm not sure about the other behind the scenes stuff, but as an avowed TV watcher, someone who doesn't just watch TV but follows the business of television and how stuff is made and listens to the way creators talk about how this stuff is made, the way Marvel's going about it, I mean, they're putting money into it. They're doing stuff that seems cool on paper, but the actual execution's not there. And I would really love to see them, really bring in experienced TV creators and listen to them and get the hell out of the way and let them make shit. So anyway, we'll see. We're not surprised by this news, but we would like to see some correction. I think that's the thing. We just, when you go wrong, just make a little correction. Make some corrections, try to get back on the path. And hopefully Marvel will get their shit together. So we shall see. We'll let you guys know if we hear more information. So, again, with the shit news, hate to say it, we're in another one of those. We're in a Jonathan Majors situation, but worse. Well, worse and better in some ways. So it came out across the the news wires, social media, whatever, that Tenoch Huerta has been accused of sexual assault by a former girlfriend, and who apparently, and she's not just accusing him of sexual assault. She's accusing a kind of a social justice, anti-racism organization that he's a part of, and I guess that she used to be a part of kind of trying to silence her and to cover up the fact that he's, according to her, a predator. So, and this was all on like social media or whatever. There's been no details. She just accused him of this, and is accusing him of being emotionally abusive and narcissistic and so forth and that stuff. And to their credit, the people who and this apparently was something to do with some podcast or something they're talking about her or her situation or something. I don't know. Some beef between her and the organization. But also, Huerta and his publicist put out a statement basically saying this is bullshit. We've been trying, she and I dated, we broke up, and then, she started acting, being weird. So I engaged some legal aid, to protect against whatever she might do in retaliation. And this is it. And I categorically deny it. Cool. So, Lottie, this is good and bad. This is better and worse than the Jonathan Major situation. It's better in the sense that this is a one woman alleging some stuff very non-specifically alleging abuse, and there's no legal anything going on here. That's, I suppose, in the eyes of Disney, will be good. That's better than what's going on with Jonathan Majors. There's no actual legal case going on with it. But it's worse because there's no fucking legal case attached to it. So this could mean anything. Anyone could run with it and think whatever they want to think about it. But even maybe worse for him is that this woman has kind of a history of dealing with guys who aren't good to her. And I think you had texted me that she had her ex-boyfriend or somebody had splashed acid on her face or something like that. And she's not going quietly. And, this is bad if it's in the court of public opinion, because then it becomes the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's actually not good. At least not for Huerta himself, but definitely not for Marvel, because they have, once again, somebody who's got some personal baggage that could really, not in the short term, probably not in the next few years even, but could affect their ability to make a movie with that character. So, Lottie, I mean, I feel like I've summarized it reasonably well. You read about it, heard and all that other stuff. What's going on in your opinion? And, is Huerta in trouble? And is Marvel and Disney, are they in another Jonathan Majors situation?
Man, it's not a good. I think this is worse than Jonathan Major. I think this is worse because not only is she's accusing you of one of the most heinous things that a man could be accused of. She's also a victim of an actual domestic violence thing. So it's not like it's almost like, even if it comes out that none of this is true, more people will still not want to believe it because she was an actual victim. You know what I mean? Like it's like a difference. Like it's like it will be harder for people to not believe it, or even if the truth comes out, people will ignore it even more because this is an actual person who survived true domestic violence. And it's just like, man, this is not a good look, man. Like, and it seems like Marvel just can't catch a break. It's like every single one of their villains that are popular are just, man,
It's
I
it sucks for them, because in fact, I would say sucks for anyone trying to invest any real money in a blockbuster, because how the hell do you vet that? Like, really, how do you vet that? I mean, are you going to literally send private eyes behind every person you want to sign to a big old contract and be like, all right, get every bit of dirt on them ever? Where does it end? Like, how much due diligence is enough due diligence I guess is the question, Lottie. How much should they be looking into these people?
I mean, and then he had that tweet too. Ugh. Did you see the tweet that he had?
Was
that he made
was that responding to
No, he made a tweet like back in like 2019 or 2020, pretty much saying that it's something about not believing women. When it had something to do with not believing women with sexual assault.
Well. Which unfortunately, there's a bunch of dudes who are nowhere near famous, but there are a bunch of dudes in Hollywood that I'm certain have some crap like that on their social media too. But
but it's just the simple fact that here's the thing: it's not like that's a super old tweet. That was like 2020. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to be careful what you tweet, man.
Yeah. As the kids say, it's cringe. It's more than cringe. It's actually more than that. I mean, just that's what I'm saying about these things. How the fuck can you predict that? It's starting to look like, and to be fair, 9 times out of 10, this shit's not going to be a thing, but this shit crops up. Like, how do you account for that sort of thing. Like, fortunately, he's not Kang, so that's why I said it's not as bad. They can replace him. It wouldn't be a big deal. He was the villain of one movie, and to be honest, he's not the linchpin villain like Jonathan Majors. So I think it'll be fine. But this sort of thing, just as a fan, this shit is exhausting. Like every time, is it just me? Every time I'm on social media and there's someone's whose name I know is just trending, I'm like, what the fuck did he do? Right? I'm just immediately, I'm like, what the fuck did he do? And then I'll click on him like, oh, thank God. He just turned, it's just his birthday. Thank you. Or, oh, I don't want to say this, but oh, they just died. Okay, cool. I thought maybe they did something crazy, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to not even defend them, just like figure out how to feel about still liking their work. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is fucking exhausting. We're reminded that they're not deities, and they're not saints or whatever like that. They're just regular people. But I mean, like, fuck, can you just be regular people like after you're done with the MCU? Like, go be regular people with stupid ass hangups in like 7 years. Can we wait? Just wait. Hold that shit off. Get your bag. Give us our movie. I know that's a horrible thing to say and think. It's again, as a fan, this shit gets fucking annoying. And at the end of the day, I mean, if dude is guilty, like, fuck him and move on. She's saying what's the real. If that shit's real, then that shit's real, and she's doing the right thing by speaking up. And I don't want to get away from that. Like, ultimately, if he's guilty, he's guilty, and and they've got to kind of deal with that. It's just, I think they've really got to figure out some kind of vetting process to really kind of, to make sure that this sort of thing doesn't become just a trend of not being able to trust that the actors that you start with are going to be the ones you end with. So. Anyway, I'm sure we'll be hearing more about this in the coming weeks, and we will let you guys know more about that when we hear about it. Final bit of news, and we've been on some a downward a downward trend. So let's end in the valley, and that is this, Lottie. It's time for some delays, and I'll have to say this, not surprising. Some Marvel delay. In fact, I think Disney probably just was like delaying a bunch of shit. Because I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if you were paying attention. Avatars 3, 4, and 5, they delayed their dates. And I will be damned if I won't be in my 50s when the last Avatar 5, comes out. I'm not kidding. Like, one, I'm old, but still, the next Avatar has been moved to 2025. Avatar 3. 4 is going to be, 2029, and 5 is going to be 2031. Like, so 2029, Avatar 4, Avatar 5, 2031. I'm going to be an old man when they finally finish this series, and James Cameron's going to be rolling around. He's going to be in a walker, but directing.
We gotta ask the question. I mean, hopefully, but is he gonna make it?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's in his 70s now, so that's Avatar 3 is Avatar 5 is supposed to be coming out in 8 years. Yeah, so we'll see. But that's just so it's Disney in general is doing this. But so let's talk about Marvel, our delays. So let's start with good news. Lottie, good news. We're gonna get to see Deadpool 3 almost 6 months earlier. In fact, 6 months earlier than we were going to originally, because instead of coming out November 8th of 2024, it's coming out It's coming out May 3rd, 2024. Oh, happy day! We're gonna get to see Deadpool back so much faster, and they better they better get on it too. This writer strike that better get the hell out of here, because I don't see how the hell they're gonna make that date. It is literally less than a year from now. Anyway, so that's the good news. So now for every other bit of not good news, Captain America: Brave New World is now going to come out. It's only 2 months later, on July 26th, 2024. And Thunderbolts was going to be July 26th of 24. Now it is going to be it's going to be December 20th of 24. So it's moving about 5 months, almost 5 months. Blade, they should call it unfinished Blade, or never gonna release Blade. It's literally moved back again. Now it's coming out in 2025 on Valentine's Day.
I don't believe that movie. They are silently canceling that movie.
The Blade's gonna be rusty and dull by then. What? He's gonna be like, can it cut? Remember? No, can it blend? No, it can't. Let's see. But that is moving into where Fantastic Four was going to be. So where's Fantastic Four landing? Fantastic Four is moving from Valentine's Day 25 to May 2nd, 2025, where Kang Dynasty was supposed to be. And so where did Kang Dynasty move? A whole fucking year. A whole year.
Yeah, I knew that.
A whole... y'all... A whole year. So 3 years from now, May 1st, 2026, where Secret Wars was supposed to be, which is now a year later from there, on May 7th of 2027. I swear, I feel like I'm watching a basketball game and they're doing four corners. They're just passing the ball from the, for you people that don't watch basketball, it's when people stand at the corners of the court and they just keep throwing the ball to each other to keep it away from the defenders, and without trying to score. It feels like that. I'm like, are we running the clock out? What the fuck's happening here? So I know that's me being petulant and childish about not getting shit when I want it. But I think this also may be a good thing. Lottie, what do you think?
Man, honestly, at this point, I don't even want to talk about the next Avengers movies again until 2025. Even then, like late 2025, I don't even want to talk about those movies anymore. Like, those movies are completely off of my radar. Same thing with Fantastic Four. Never talking about that movie until 2025 too. Like, get that out of here. Blade, in my opinion, I don't even think that movie's coming out.
It's not a real movie.
Nah, they haven't. No, that's not a real movie. Jesus, man, look at this.
Look what they did to my boy. They massacred they've massacred my movie release list. There are some bright spots in here, and like I said, I think we can take some. I think we take some kind of like, positivity out of this, if we look at this the right way. One, Captain America really doesn't move much. It's literally moving like 2 months. That's fine. It's barely a move. Deadpool, we're getting it soon. We're getting it sooner. That's dope, right? So next year, we're guaranteed. Next year we're guaranteed to get Deadpool and Captain America within a few months. Cool. Thunderbolts, it's still within the same year. That's fine, I guess, right? It moves, half a year, but that's fine. With the writer's strike going on, I'm sure they need the time to get their shit together. Everything after that is just what really fucking pains me, because it's what's filling in the gaps is maybe my question, right? Mm-hmm. We have everything up till mid 2025 right now. then nothing else until 2026. What's filling in the space between Fantastic Four and Kang Dynasty? And what's filling in the space between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars? You know,
there's
it can't be nothing. I don't believe Marvel's going to put out one damn movie in a year. So, like I said, there's some positivity to be gained here. But Blade and Fantastic Four, they keep feeling like fake projects to me. You know, they feel like Captain America Serpent Society. You know, that fake ass title that they put on instead of Civil War. So I'm just like, are these things real? I think they're real. It's just it's so hard to deal with the fact that these things aren't going to be realities for years to come. The other bit of positivity is they're giving themselves space to actually make the shit good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've been talking about, like, y'all are doing too much. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. All right, well, they've just shuffled the deck so that they don't have to do as much. And so, I mean, at the very least, we can't say they didn't have time or too much stuff to focus on, you know, to not get shit right. And so I'll take that extra time as a down payment on this shit. That better be fucking awesome. Like, is that a fair look at it?
a down payment.
Yeah. All right, you give me a down payment of an extra year. This shit better be fire. Because otherwise, roasting is not going to be good enough. And I'm a Marvel shill, and I'm all in on these movies, and I'll probably like them. But man, y'all push the movies, and if them shits are not giving me flashbacks to Phase 3, we're gonna have words. So I mean, come on.
Yeah, because Jesus Christ, that is a massacre. I mean, honestly, like the final three movies on the list, I don't even want to talk about anymore. Like, honestly, we shouldn't even bring these movies up anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
one of them is 4 years later.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. By the time Avengers: Secret Wars comes out, we will have caught up and passed the MCU timeline. Because we were 3 years behind the MCU. I'm pretty sure by the time Secret Wars comes out, we will have passed them. It will be in universe. It'll still be 2025, and we'll be in 2027. So, okay, I'm done. I'm done bitching about it. I'm not gonna bitch about it anymore. I'm just going to say I hope they get this correct, and I hope that the delays make it all work. And again, understanding that some of this shit, I can tell some of the earlier delays, like from Captain America and so forth, is writer strike related. I'm pretty sure that's true. So anyway, those are all of our news items for the week. Let me just say, when we learn more about these delays, I'm sure we will. I'll let you guys know more about that then. But either way, that's all of our news items for this week. But what did you guys think? Did we miss something? Did we have a bad take? Did you agree with us? Whatever it may be, do us a favor, get down there to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And while you're down there, do us a favor, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. It helps with the channel so that more people can see it, more people can join, and of course, we can bring you more content that you guys like, so you guys know when we drop more stuff. And of course, I can never do this show by myself. I always need my good friend Lottie to help me out. So Lottie, where can they reach you on your social medias?
You can always find me on my Instagram channel, Anokinihun. Again, it's Anokinihun, ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. And of course, my YouTube channel, which is Kinihun25. I'll try to stream the demo of Final Fantasy 16 so you guys can enjoy. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, definitely check out when he demos that. Especially when he's, He's waiting his turn. I don't even know if they're still turn based. I have no idea. Never played a Final
it's
Fantasy in
action.
my life.
It's action now.
It's like I have to wait my turn. That's anyway, well, that's cool. Yeah, you guys go show Lottie some love, y'all, and show us some love. You know, we love talking about comic books and everything like that, superhero stuff on the Supercast. It's fun, good, nerdy time, and we're glad you joined us. Glad you made it all the way here to the end of the show. We're on episode 105, unbelievably. We keep on moving forward, but next week, come back for episode 106, and we're going to be talking about The Flash. Was it good? Was it bad? Are you going to be sad that the DCEU doesn't exist anymore? So we'll let you guys know how we feel about that. So come back and join us then. Until then, I've been Mo, your comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. We'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.